let's understand why is it hard to change and how you can take that step to actually change and reach your maximum potential. First, the understanding is about our brains and how it works. So, brains are usually designed to keep us safe into the familiar. So, our safety comes from the familiarity that we have. We want to be in the familiar known that we already have been living in so many years. So, the familiar known discomfort is rather clinging rather than going into the unknown possibility that we might have, because we don't want to change anything about our lives or take anything or take any steps on it. And also comes in the familiar pain that we cling on to rather than unfamiliar freedom that we can have while releasing ourselves from that pain. And because we are programmed like that, it is really important to sit with yourself and rewire your brain. And the only way you can do it is by doing meditation. That was about the brain. And let's move on to the identity. So, how you identify yourself is mostly about if I want to be a confident person, but my belief is that I am a shy person. That means my identity deep down is that I am a shy person. I will be unable to speak up, unable to share my ideas. Then I am a shy person because my belief and my identity is still as that person. You need to look at your identity from not as yourself but as a perspective of your soul. So if you imagine yourself coming out of your body as a soul and just observe yourself and your identity based on what you do and what things you need to change and what you are doing in your daily routine, then you will realize that your soul wants different things than you actually doing. And then it's easy to at least take few steps towards doing what your soul really wants you to do. Now, after your brain, your identity, comes your body. So your body is your memory of your past, which means anything that you go through, rather trauma, pain, experiences in your life, everything, every emotion gets stuck in your body. It is a memory of your past. You have to process the memory and get release of the emotions that are no longer serving you in any way. Because until unless you release those emotions, you're still stuck into the past and you're still operating from from some lens that is going to keep you in the same place over the years, and nothing is going to change until you make a decision that this is over. I am not that person. I am not into the familiar. I'm going to take steps that I have never taken, and that's where your life changes into the next moment. These are the few reasons, the major things why everybody who wants to change, but it's so hard to change because your brain, your body, and your identity identify, and everything keeps you into the familiar just to keep yourself safe. And after this whole concept comes, how would you want to change? And there are few steps you can take to actually change. The first one is your awareness. When your awareness comes into play, it only comes in when you actually observe yourself. And when you see similar patterns over the years repeating and nothing has actually ever changed in your life, and you see that, just take one area of your life. I'll give an example of health, okay? So if you see your health over the years, if it's declining, if it's constant over the years, if there's something about it, if you have a back pain or anything like that, you see a pattern in your health. You see a pattern in your relationships. If you see all those patterns repeating over the years, there's a strong reason behind it. Because there should be awareness about those patterns. Once you decide to change and you are aware of those patterns repeating in your life, you will think for a moment and then you're like, okay, I need to change something about this because this is not serving you anymore. And when it's not serving you anymore, you need to make a decision to change. And the first step is awareness, and awareness comes through meditation. I repeated it a lot, but it does come through meditation. You have to think that you can do meditation. There's no one in the world who's exceptional who cannot do meditation. Anybody who decides to be and do meditation can do it. You just have to practice it and be consistent with it. And after awareness comes in your discomfort. Once you have been aware of the pattern, you're trying to change it, of course, it's not going to be an easy path. Because if you think whatever, how many years you spent building that pattern in your life, you spent 20, 30, 40 years building that pattern in your life. If you're spending that much in building that pattern, you would have to take a maximum amount of energy to actually break that pattern, because you build it over the years, and it is going to take consistent efforts to break those patterns. It is going to be discomfortable. You are going to be in so much discomfort, and you have to get past through it. There's no other way. Your body, your mind, and your identity needs a shift, and it is going to take a lot of time. So you gotta make an effort to do that. No matter what, you have to make the decision to go through the discomfort, because only through that you will be able to pass through the next step. Because many people stop at the discomfort. And I'll give an example of meditation. When you sit down and start doing meditation, when I started, it was hard. I never did it in my life. I was never trained to do it since I was young. I started doing it 3-4 years ago. And when I started doing it, I know that how much it was, your body starts giving up. Your body wants to do things. Your body wants to do the next thing you do in regular basis, because your body is the memory of the past. Your body wants to go and just go do the things that you do in your regular routine. That be waking up, go doing your shower, taking a coffee, or whatever your routine looks like. Your body wants to go up, get up and do it. But when you make a decision that you want to go and sit down, and this is your moment, and you constantly every single day remind your body and your mind that this is who you are, this is your identity, that's when you break through that discomfort. That's when the change actually happens. After that comes in repetition. And when I say repetition, it means consistency, of course. But it takes a lot of repetitions to get out of your comfort zone. And once you are doing it every single day, whatever you decide to change, whatever area you decide to change, and you're trying to make a change, and you're doing it every single day, like if you don't want to react in the same way like you used to, like to the same person that you used to, you will notice that a repetition in your every single day, that I'm not reacting that way that I used to this person or the situation. I'm a different individual, and you're just rewiring every single day with repetition. There comes a point when the change happens and you don't even know, because you became that person with repetition. And that's how the change, and like, people have an exponential growth when they're able to change in their life, and when through repetition that they see that they are no longer that person anymore. That's only going to happen when you're going to make consistent efforts towards doing one thing that your soul wants to really do, and break through that pattern. And remember, it's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of your effort to do the repetition, because everybody is going to make an excuse, and you including, saying that you don't have time. But remember that everybody has enough time. Everybody has a busy schedule, and everybody can make time for themselves. You have to figure your schedule out. You have to make those decisions in your life. And after repetition comes in embodiment. After you've gone through the whole process, as I said, after repetition, you won't even realize when you became that person. So you embody what you really want to do. You embody, if I'm not a reactive person anymore, I'm going to be embodied into that identity automatically, that I don't even react to those things or situations anymore like I used to, because I am not that person anymore, or I have a different identity. So that's an identity shift, and I have changed the trajectory of my life because I made that decision of not being reactive. Because if it can take this much energy to create something that was negative in my life, I'm going to put a lot of energy to remove that and become a better version of it. And these are the 4 important steps that you have to take in order to change, and in order to embody who you want in your life. And to do all these steps, just make sure you're working with your nervous system. You don't want to shock your nervous system with doing something out of, like, if you want to start doing meditation and you don't want to start doing it just 1 hour in the beginning, you do want to start like 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then over the years just start increasing your time, or months, as your practice is getting better, just getting better and better. You start want to do it in those time frames, but you want to increase it slowly. You don't want to shock your nervous system, because your nervous system and your body is going to be like, oh, this person is just acting awkward, and your nervous system is going to feel that there's a danger because it's not used to you being or doing those stuff. Your nervous system and your body is not going to be okay you doing meditation one day when you were in 30-40 years never doing it. You never did it, and it's going to take that much effort to start doing it. And start small, and then don't shock your nervous system, just take it slow. I hope this important message helped, because I really wanted to share this, and I feel like no matter how much I say, it is your decision to change, and I want you to take that decision, but it is at the end going to be your decision to change. So take a moment to yourself and decide, what do you really want to change, and be consistent, and no matter what the situation is, just never give up. Never ever. Okay, this was my time, and I hope this message helps. And thank you so much for your time, and have yourself a nice day. Thank you.